Well, welcome to week 1, and the real content of the course begins. In this first week, what we're really trying to work on and have you learn is all about framing, lenses, mental models, perspectives, perceptions. So in the first chapters, Bowman and Deal they touch on several kinds of biases and ways that we may not be looking at the biggest picture that we should be looking at for our organizations. And of course, there is, following my video, there's a video from Bowman and Deal themselves about the 4 frames and taking a step back from our organizations and looking at these frames and thinking about the different kinds of perspectives and lenses that we should be thinking about before we make any decisions, before we act on organizational behavior, needs, or strengths. So this first module is really about expanding our thinking, broadening our perspectives, and making sure that we, again, take a step back, go up to 30,000 feet, consider things that might not be natural or immediate for us to consider. What do I want you to learn this first week? I really want you to learn about and be ready to discuss first about our biases, your biases. There are many different kinds of biases that have been studied in organizational behavior. Some of them are affirmation bias, confirmation bias, subconscious bias, conscious bias, attribution theory, and of course, Bowman and Deal talk about mental models, which are really important. They also touch on learning organizations, which in learning organizations, people share openly with each other, they learn from each other, and the organization becomes smarter, more intelligent, and better functioning over time. That's something that if you're interested in, the additional readings by Senji and Arjus, who did the work on organizational systems and organizational learning, are great extra sources for you, and something you might want to use in your paper when you get to it. So we want to open up our minds and our hearts. First, again, the first thing I want you to learn, open your minds and your hearts. Get new knowledge, get new understanding, and always and everywhere step back and take a look. Secondly, I want you to dig in about mental models and how we need to understand what our own mental models are, and then expand them, learn more, reframe our thinking, and make new sense of the issues, the problems, and the changes we may want to consider, determine what we believe, and open our beliefs, and determine what we're experiencing in our organizations before we act or respond to those organizational problems. So I'll leave you to the next video, and then to the readings and discussion for this week, and I will be seeing you at the beginning of next week to introduce next week's lessons.